Soon you'll know. Time will help. I feel sorry about your confusion, but this world's never really been about truth or lies. In this world, there's only one thing that's worth knowing. Hard facts.
Alright, what is going on YouTube? It is your boy Jahsen back at it with another episode of
Real Talk.
And today's topic, the two former Ohio State football players that were accused of graping a white woman.
What?
And turns out that she came out and said that, they didn't grape her, so you know how that goes. And for some reason, we have a trial going on, even though this woman has publicly come out and said that these men didn't do this to her. But I digress. I'll just play the video and I'll let y'all see for yourselves. So without further ado, I'm going to play it uninterrupted, and then I'm going to come back and give my commentary on the second go, because there's so much I want to say about this.
Well, witness testimony has now begun in the trial of two former Ohio State football players. They're accused of raping a woman at their off-campus apartment. That was back in 2020.
The victim in this case took to the stand this morning, and NBC4's Matthew Herchick was there and has the details on a difficult day in the courtroom.
Very emotional testimony in the courtroom this morning. The victim in this case, who we are not identifying, fought through many tears as she...
And let me just say, why aren't you identifying her?
Detailed what happened on that night 3 years ago. The jury also getting their first look at the video that the victim says she was forced to record after the incident took place. During opening statements, the state's prosecutor, Dan Meyer, revealed a brief history between Amir, Riep, and the victim. Meyer pointing out that the two actually grew up near the same hometown and had exchanged a few messages after she was accepted to Ohio State. Now, according to the prosecution, after making plans to hang out the night of February 4th, 2020, Riep picked the victim up from her dorm and took her back to the apartment he shared with his co-defendant, Jahsen, Wint. And the prosecution argues after the two began having consensual sex, the victim told Riep she did not want to continue when he allegedly forced her to continue, with Wint then later taking part. Now, the state says that Riep then took the victim back to her dorm, and hours later she went to the police. The two turned themselves into police a week later and were kicked off the football team less than 24 hours later.
She sat on the bed expecting to play video games or watch a movie. That was her expectation when she went in. Video games, movie, hanging out.
Doesn't lay a hand on her, doesn't rape her, doesn't hold her down, doesn't force her head in the pillow, does none of that. And I'm going to prove it to you.
Now, before Riep took the victim back to her dorm, the state argues that he coerced the victim into recording a video saying that everything was consensual. The victim says that she only said that so she could get out of there and go home. The defense argues that the video was taken to avoid the situation they're in right now and says Riep voluntarily showed the video to police to try and exonerate them. We'll continue to follow this story and bring you the latest both on air and online at NBC4i.com. Local for you at the Franklin County Courthouse, Matthew Herchick, NBC.
Oh God, there's so much wrong with this. There's so much wrong with this clip. Oh God, let's take it back from the top. This time with feeling.
Former Ohio State football players. They're accused of raping a woman at their off-campus apartment. That was back in 2020.
The victim in this case took to the stand this morning, and NBC4's Matthew Herchick was there and has the details on a difficult day in the courtroom.
Very emotional testimony in the courtroom this morning. The victim in this case, who we are not identifying, fought through many
Yeah, why aren't you identifying the victim who is possibly trying, or not even trying, who is able to possibly end the life of two men? I mean, she's already messed up their football career, so, what else have they got to lose at this point, right? I mean, they're always going to be known as those guys who raped a woman off college or off campus while they were in college, so, yeah, their life's already over.
Tears as she detailed what happened on that night 3 years ago. The jury also getting their...
And oh man, there's no tears like white women tears, because I'm sure during the 2 years that it took them to get this trial underway, I'm sure she was just just casually strolling through life, going to Starbucks, drinking her pumpkin spice, and just living life. But now she's on the stand. Now magically she's crying. Whoa.
First look at the video that the victim says she was forced to record after the incident took place. During open...
Yeah, I guess they had a gun to her head and forced her to record the video, huh?
Opening statements, the state's prosecutor, Dan Meyer, revealed a brief history between Amir Riep and the victim. Meyer pointing out that the two actually grew up near the same home.
And I'm gonna go off on a wild limb here and say this is the victim. Just a guess. It probably isn't, but just a guess.
Town and had exchanged a few messages after she was accepted to Ohio State. Now, according to the prosecution, after making plans to hang out the night of February...
And the best chance that these dudes got is the video, because let me just say, if they did allegedly rape this white woman and this is their judge, oh, they are fucked. They are fucked. Golly, a black woman judge with two black men who raped a white woman? Oh no. Oh no. We not gonna have that. So y'all better hope that... Oh man. Well, I mean, it's a jury, so I mean, but still, if this was like, if the judge was deciding this, it would already be a wrap.
February 4th, 2020, Riep picked the victim up from her dorm and took her back to the apartment he shared with his co-defendant, Jahsen Wint. And the prosecution argues after the two began having consensual sex, the victim told Riep she did not want to continue when he allegedly...
Okay, so she changed her mind, like, either during or after they were done.
Forced her to continue, with Wint then later taking part. The state says that Riep then took the victim back to her dorm, and hours later she went to the police. The two turned themselves into police a week later and were kicked off the football team less than 24 hours later.
I don't know too many black males who turn themselves into the police, especially when they did said thing that you're accusing them of. Generally speaking, most niggas I've seen go on the run. Just throwing that out there.
She sat on the bed, expecting to play video games or watch a movie. That was her expectation when she went in. Video games, movie, hanging out.
Oh my God!
Alright, so she was sitting on the bed, and she was expecting to watch movies and play video games. Okay. Easy question. I can literally debunk this right now. What games was she expecting to play? What consoles were they on? These are two questions that could immediately debunk this whole entire situation. Hey, victim, what games were you expecting to play, and on what consoles were you expecting to play said games on? I guarantee you she does not have a clue, because she does not play video games whatsoever. But I'm sure the defense thought of this, I'm sure.
Doesn't lay a hand on her, doesn't rape her, doesn't hold her down, doesn't force her head in the pillow, does none of that. And I'm going to prove it to you.
Now, before Riep took the victim back to her dorm, the state argues that he coerced the victim into recording a video saying that everything was consensual. The victim says that she only said that so she could get out of there and go home. The defense argues that the video was taken to avoid the situation they're in right now, and says Riep voluntarily showed the video to police to try and exonerate them.
And let me just say, this was something that was being talked about when the Me Too movement kind of kicked off. Start recording women, asking for consent, yada, yada, yada. But this case literally just shows you can have a video of a woman saying, I consent to this. And depending on where you are, who you are, when it happened, the narrative they spin, that doesn't even matter. Hence why I'm BMGTOW, but that's neither here nor there. I'm sure that, you know, she's a lovely young lady and that there was no nefarious intentions at all, right? Because I'm sure this wasn't a white woman trying to ruin the life of a black male who she knew wasn't in control of his libido. So, I mean, hey, black men are seen as sexual deviants, right? I mean, you look at porn, you look at movies. I mean, they're the ones always banging the white guy's wife, yada, yada, yada. So, like, I mean, hey, stereotypes aren't brought out of nowhere, right?
We'll continue to follow this story and bring you the latest both on air and online at NBC4i.com. Local for you at the Franklin County Courthouse, Matthew Herchick, NBC4.
All right. So,
Norman took her back to the apartment.
let's just give a Cliff Notes version, right? So, we have a young, I'm assuming Caucasian college student who was meeting up with a African American football player. We all know how the football players do, and we all know how a lot of these black males have this obsession with sleeping with white women at all costs. Because for some reason there's this weird thing of, yeah, we gotta get revenge for what they did to our ancestors. Yeah, we gonna have sex with Massa's woman. Yeah. Like, not sure that I agree with the logic, but I mean, hey, do y'all. So we got black men who are obsessed with sleeping with white women, and this woman takes advantage of that, comes over to said black male's apartment to Netflix and chill, and I guess play video games. That's all she came to do, not expecting there to be any kind of intimacy whatsoever. Sure, these are college kids. I'm sure both of them lost their virginity probably around 15 years old. And you come to a male's apartment, presumably at night, and you think the only thing that he wants to do is watch movies and play video games? Right. So things get a little spicy. One thing leads to another. Y'all start doing adult activities. Maybe you change your mind midway through, maybe after the fact, but he already has the video recorded of you saying that it was consensual. So now, with you regretting everything, you go to the police and say that they raped you. Now, the video has to come up of you consenting. The case should go out the window at that point. You're on video saying you consented. I'm sure that they weren't holding a gun to your head and threatening to kill you if you didn't say you consented in the video, but the prosecution will use terms like they coerced her into saying that she consented, right? Because, it's their job to, even though we have video evidence to prove these men innocent, it's their job to literally go, fuck that. We are going to lock these black men up. Even though we have video evidence saying that this was consensual. And most people with more than 2 brain cells know that this was consensual. And that this is how college students act. They like to have sex. They like to get drunk. They like to mess around. Like, we all know what it is. We're all grown here. So, oh God, this is why I hate the legal system so much. Like, I used to want to be a lawyer, but looking at videos like this, I definitely don't want to be a lawyer ever again in my life. Knowing that I would be in a position like this to where I would have to look at some video evidence, and using my common sense, I would have to throw that out the window and say, nope, it's my job to make sure that these men are found guilty no matter what is presented in front of me, no matter what I know about college students, no matter what my lived experiences are and people I know and everything I've been through. It is my job to make sure that these men go to prison, even though every fiber of my being is telling me that they're innocent. I definitely couldn't do it. So now, the victim, I mean, nothing's going to happen to her, obviously. Nothing's going to happen to her. I mean, I'd sue, but it is what it is. So nothing's going to happen to her. And then these men, hopefully, if they do get off, what are they going to do? I mean, hopefully they'll get like a bunch of like speaking engagements and they can probably turn their story into like a book or a movie or something. But, I mean, their football careers are over. Their college careers are over. Like, it's probably going to be hard for them to get a job. So, like, where do we honestly go from here, guys? Like, let me know down in the comment section below. Like, where do we go from here? This is, oh God, oh man. And then I got another story I'm gonna tie into this one, but this is ridiculous. Like, got video evidence. Hey, I consent. No, she didn't. No, she was coerced. She was forced into saying this for this video because, yeah, they knew that they raped her, and yeah, she was forced. Come on, bro. Oh, God. And this is why it's important to have dick discipline, guys. Especially you black males that literally will do anything to sleep with a white chick. Hey, y'all better be careful out here. That's all I'm going to say. But that's all I got for this. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Did I make a little bit of sense? Did I make a lot of sense? Did I make too much sense? Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. But it's been your boy Reep back with another episode of
Real talk.
Awkward. And I'll catch y'all in the next video, man. I'm out.
Whoa, dude. This fucking nerdy man needs to stop with all these hard bangers, bro. People that change the world are frightening.